Hey, I'm Daniel, and you're watching another episode of the Filmcraziest Show. My guest for this episode is co-writer and director Patrick White for his film Queen of Spades, a Canadian horror film that is also a remake of a Russian horror film called Queen of Spades, The Dark Rite. Patrick's film is an urban legend type film where a group of teens summon the spirit of the Queen of Spades through an innocent Bloody Mary-esque ritual, not expecting it to be real. The film is in select theaters now and is available on demand on June 15th in the US and Canada. As well, you can check out the link right below for my interview with Queen of Spades lead actress Ava Preston. Okay, let's get right into the interview with Patrick White. I just noticed your background. Is that Ava swimming?
Yeah, it's a still from. Oh, there we go. It's a still from the movie.
Ah, that's awesome. What was it like using the swimming pool for the film?
It was great because it challenged us into how to film it, and I would say our DP Scott McIntyre. I'd never seen this before, but I was like, how do we get the camera into the pool? And have you ever seen the setup where you put the camera inside a aquarium, and you put like weights in the aquarium so that you're providing a cavity in the water where the camera is fine, but it's not it's not encased in a like a water protected thing.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was pretty awesome to do and let us get to that, the right on the edge of the water and stuff. It was great.
That's always fun when you can have like new rigs like that. That's interesting.
Well, and that was like, it's like literally a DIY, right? We bought the aquarium at a pet store, used it for a day, and then I returned it just to make sure we could get the shot, and then we had quite a bit of footage that then the editor was really allowed to kind of build that sequence up, which was awesome.
Cool. Also, I forgot to say what film we're discussing today. So, hey, Patrick White for Queen of Spades. just so we get that out of the way.
There you go.
And you're director and co-writer as well, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Because on IMDb, it doesn't list you as a writer, but I think that's just always inaccurate.
I'll have to yell at the producer.
Okay, sounds good. Now I've gotten him in trouble. I've got to ask. I actually live in Ottawa, and I was interested to learn that this is filmed in Ottawa. And the exterior for the apartment buildings, I swear I've seen those 1,000 times. Where are they?
So they're oh bloody hell! It's just on the east end off the highway, just before Montreal Road. What's it called again?
By Gloucester, by the Silver City, right?
Not far.
Okay, exactly. I'm literally 10 minutes away from there.
There you go.
I'm looking out my window as if I can see it, but yeah, I'm in Orleans, so that's so interesting. Now this is actually a remake of a Russian horror film. So correct. When did you first see that? When did you first hear about that movie, and why did you want to remake it?
So Level Film, who's the Canadian distributor, Michael Baker, another guy from Ottawa, they were distributing Queen of Spades, The Dark Rite, and I had made a short film here called The Garage. And I think after seeing The Garage, he kind of said, listen, we have the remake rights to make Queen of Spades. Do you want to check it out and see if you guys want to do it? Myself and my producer partner, Brendan McNeil. And we watched Queen of Spades, and it was a roller coaster. It was a lot of fun. And I think one of the big things that really appealed to me is here's the essential like Candyman or Bloody Mary mythology done in a total different culture, and it's their own, right? And it's like I'd never heard of it. And so it was just a matter of Level was on board. They were believing in me. Brendan and I had been kind of developing some other stuff, and we said, listen, this is a great opportunity to take something that already has an audience and let's introduce the Queen to North America.
Okay. Were there any big differences, and what was it like Canadianizing it?
I would say North Americanizing it,
sure.
But I would say the biggest difference, if you haven't watched the Russian one, the Russian one, the mother and father are divorced. There is the girl, there's the 4 friends, but the difference is the father kind of comes in and saves the day. And very early on, my co-writer, John Ainsley, said, the father comes in and kind of makes the mother this kind of standby character who isn't really acting. And he said, like, do we really need the dad? Why don't we get rid of the dad? And then it becomes a stronger mother-daughter relationship. And that was really the biggest piece. And then I would say the Russian one, again, going to that roller coaster, it just flies and does a lot of stuff. But the Queen, I would say, if in the logical standpoint, you don't always know the rules of what the Queen can and cannot do. Like, can she physically do things to people while they're possessed? Are they not? Like, and so we just said, listen, what are the rules we're going to set for the Queen, and how can we live within those? And that was one of the other areas. But otherwise, again, I think they laid down a brilliant blueprint. I love how Queen of Spades, how the conjuring of the Queen of Spades versus the conjuring of Bloody Mary. Like Bloody Mary, I'm in front of a blank mirror, and it's the same thing. I have lights off and stuff like this. But just that act of drawing on the mirror is just, I think, compels it, right? Because it's just one of those other pieces, and then there's a remnant on the mirror. And no matter, and I don't know if you've ever put lipstick on a mirror, try to rub it off, there's always a little bit of a silhouette. So then it's almost like, is the Queen, have I let something in? So there's all those pieces.
Okay. Now, did you and the crew ever play the game of Queen of Spades during filming?
Well, invariably you are when during every take, right? Because you are doing it. I have two girls. I have a 12 and a 10-year-old, and they won't watch this. They won't they won't look at doing any of this stuff. But the fascinating part is my 12-year-old talks about that girls at her school were challenging other girls in the bathroom, a couple of years ago in the school, to do Bloody Mary. So it's still something, I think, done, because it's that mythology is still going to carry on. It's still going to be, perpetrated forward.
For sure. Now, I'll never have the guts to ever play the game of Bloody Mary or Queen of Spades, but did you ever play the game of Bloody Mary before filming this?
Probably back in my teen years, a long time ago, and probably very similar, probably after a couple of drinks, or, and probably making decisions and spooking myself out and letting my imagination run too far.
Sure.
Because invariably, and I think we all do it. It's like, if you pause and you are in your house and actually listen intently for 30 seconds, you're going to hear something that you can't understand. And then invariably, because you're doing that as you're trying to conjure up a spirit, your mind will go to places that then make it difficult to fall asleep.
Yeah, and I think you're going to gaslight yourself into hearing something, right? Now, exactly. I just spoke with Ava, and she was talking about how, like, when you guys were actually filming the Queen of Spades conjuring, that you made one slight difference to make sure that you actually didn't conjure her in real life. So what was that? What was the difference?
I'd have to ask Ava. I don't know. Maybe
she didn't know either.
I just told her. I don't know. I'd have to ask her.
Okay, so just put her at ease. It's like, okay, we're going to change this slightly, but we're not really.
Exactly.
Now, what was it like designing the character of Queen of Spades and with the makeup and the look of it?
I think this is where the collaboration really came into play. I had done a movie called Jack Brooks Monster Slayer here in Ottawa about 12 years ago.
That was you?
Yeah.
Sorry, I like that movie a lot. Cool.
So I was the producer and one of the worked on the story, one of the writers.
Oh, neat.
And I worked with a guy named David Scott, who has a company called Form & Dynamics, and I went back to him. So I thought he did a great job on Jack. He was great to work with. We'd worked with him on something else, I believe, as well. And so I just went to him, and we had a conversation of, how did the Queen die? Where do we think she is? What would she look like? And I would say the other piece of this is the costume. My aunt is a fairly well-known costume designer, Delphine White. So she worked on a lot of the early Cronenberg movies like Videodrome and Scanners. And then on to, other movies like with Chow Yun-fat and stuff of that nature. So the other piece, I would say, not only working with David Scott on the look, but also working with Chelsea Graham on the costume were really key factors in defining how the Queen of Spades was gonna look like, and then play her. And I would say and another thing, the Russian movie used a lot of good CG. I think there's a lot of moments where they shot CG and put the Queen into scenes. A lot of times, I think we did do one green screen day, but a lot of times it was a matter of how could we kind of make you think that the Queen was there, right? So how could we play with more the fact of let your imagination play its game. We're just going to really tease you that she's there.
Now, with the green screen day, was that mostly with the Queen, or was that like the roof scene at the beginning?
It was the roof scene, and then a lot of it was the Queen. So there was moments like, if I'm not trying to give away too much, but there's a couple of moments in the mirror where you see the Queen later in the movie, where she appears in some mirrors. Again, in the pool area, coming up behind Matthew, there's a lot of bits we ended up picking up to be able to insert her into scenes in places where practically it wouldn't make sense for us to be able to shoot on the day.
Okay, fair enough. Now, my last one. Do you have a favorite card in a deck?
Favorite card in the deck? I think it would more than likely be an ace, but from now on, it would probably be the Queen of Spades. And I don't know if you noticed, we used a Russian deck. And so the Q is actually a D because it's for Dama, which is Russian. So we try to have a little kind of nod to the Russian version there.
Okay, that makes sense. I was like, either I'm seeing things or this is a special Canadian deck. Okay, so that's good to know. Awesome. So I think that was my time. So director and co-writer Patrick White for Queen of Spades. Thank you for chatting with me on the Film Craziest Show.
Thank you, Daniel.
Nice meeting you.